Hello and welcome to Logos College Online Learning. This is Writing 2, and today I wanted to definitely finish Unit 4 with you, and then we're going to start on Unit 5. So we have 2 more weeks left. We have this lesson and next week's lesson before your final exam. All right. Okay, so if you want to join, if you have your book open, if you want to open your book to page 126, oops, sorry. And page 126, it talks again about prepositions, right? It talks about sentence structure. And at the beginning of this unit, we talked about what prepositions were. I'm sure you've learned it many times before. Now we're going to talk about different types of prepositional phrases and where you can place them in sentences. So quick review, prepositions are words such as of, to, from, in, and at. Right? And most prepositions are just one word. A few prepositions are 2 words, such as next to, or sometimes it could be 3 words, in front of. Right? And they give you a list of the common prepositions in English language. I think there's about like 113, 114 prepositions. Words such as above, behind, from, in, out, upon, with, right? Next to, because of. So remember, prepositions are words that connect two ideas, right? 2 nouns or 2 pronouns. But the key word here is a noun. I want you to look at this word to. And I circled it for a reason. So to, yes, it is a preposition. But if to is followed by a verb, it becomes an infinitive. All right, again, the word to is followed by a verb. It's known as an infinitive and is no longer a preposition. So the infinitive, it could be used as a noun, right? So all of this is considered a noun. Most infinitives begin with the preposition to. So this could be confusing to a lot of people. So be careful. If you see to, and then the next word is a verb, they are always followed by a verb. It is an infinitive. To remain, to meet, to jump, to dream. Okay. Let's look on page 127, and it talks about phrases. All right, so what is a phrase? A prepositional phrase is always combined with a noun or noun phrase to make a prepositional phrase, such as in the house. Okay, so your preposition is in, and your noun is the house. House, combined with the article the. You put all 3 together, you combine a noun or a noun phrase with the preposition. This becomes a prepositional phrase, right? Such as at 6 o'clock. Right, 6 o'clock is a noun, it's an idea, a time. Then at with the noun, it becomes a prepositional phrase because at is a preposition. They want to look at some common types of phrases. There's a prepositional phrases of place. So these answer the question where, a location, where is it? And these are useful. If you remember this unit, we talked about space order, describing the location of things in a room, right? On the desk, next to the window, under the bed, in front of the house. Notice they all have nouns, right? Nouns, 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 nouns. So all these, this on is a preposition. The noun phrase is the desk. Together, it makes a prepositional phrase. Right? In is a preposition. The middle of the room, this is actually another preposition. Of is a preposition, the room is the noun phrase. So altogether, this makes one prepositional phrase, right? Even though there are 2 prepositions. In front of the house. Same idea. So, prepositional phrases of place answer the question where. Prepositional phrases of time, they answer the question when. These were useful in how-to paragraphs, and we talked about how to write those in Unit 3. And it talks about a timeline of a time relationship between things, or when to do things. At the beginning, after, before, upon, in the morning, at midnight. Next is prepositional phrases of possession. It answers the question, whose. Possession means belong. It belongs to you, right? The father of the bride, right? Who? The father of the bride. Of the rainbow, what? The colors of the rainbow. Right? So prepositional phrases of possession, it talks about who or what something belongs, what belongs to who, or who belongs to who also. Other prepositional phrases describe or identify someone or something. They answer the question, which one or ones. Right? The boy with red hair, or your preposition is with. It describes the boy. It identifies the boy. Right? Who? The boy. What boy? The boy with red hair. Right? The men. What men? The men in the blue uniforms. So those are 4 types of prepositional phrases. The main ones that you will see are the prepositional phrases of place and time. Let's look up further into the preposition. And it says prepositional phrases. What are they? They always consist of 2 basic parts at minimum. Right? So at least, right? It has to have the object and the preposition. It says in formal English, prepositions are almost always followed by objects. So not all the time, almost always, right? And adjectives can be placed between the prepositions and objects in prepositional phrases. Right? Let's take a look at the example. After several minutes. The preposition is after. Object of preposition is minutes. And notice several here describes minutes, is an adjective, and they can be placed between the preposition and the objects. All right. After several minutes, we located the key for the door. Here, the preposition is for, object is the door. So all of that, those 2 things, and any words between it, makes a prepositional phrase. Here they made a mistake. There should be a comma right here. After several minutes, we located the key for the door. Yeah, there should be a comma. Oh, we'll get to that later. All right, next one. The flock of tiny swallows flew over the trees near the lake. Right. This sentence has 3 prepositional phrases. The first one, the preposition is of. The object is swallows. Right. Swallows is a type of bird. It's a small bird. And then tiny is the adjective, right? Of tiny swallow. So the preposition, the object, and any words in between it makes a prepositional phrase. Over the trees, near the lake. You notice here, you can put a couple prepositional phrases together. You don't need a comma. We'll talk about when you need to use a comma in a little bit. Okay. This exercise is on page 128. It says identifying prepositional phrases. They want you to underline each preposition and then put parentheses around the prepositional phrases. First sentence, some of my friends think the inside of my desk drawers resembles a second-hand store. So first preposition is of, and then the phrase is then the object of what? My friends. Now you have to include all the words in between it. Second one, of my desk drawers. This is the object right here. Resembles a second-hand store. In the long center drawer under my computer, you can find paper clips, erasers, pencils, pens, rubber bands, and small bottles of glue. So let's find the first preposition. and it's in. Oops. We don't need an arrow. I don't know. Oh, don't want that. Let me zoom out real quick. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. So the first one is in. Underline that. All right. The long center drawer. All right, so drawer is your noun, the object. This is an adjective that describes the object. So then we would write parentheses here and parentheses here. Okay. Next words, under my computer. All right, so here under is the next one, and then your prepositional phrase includes a preposition and all this stuff all the way up to the object, okay? So in the long center drawer, under my computer, you can find paper clips, erasers, pencils, pens, rubber bands, and small bottles of glue. To the right of this large drawer, there are 4 smaller drawers. In the one at the top, I have a bunch of tools. If you want to repair something, you can find whatever you need there. So I'm not going to read any more about this, but in this right here, they found 2 for you, right? And they want you to find the rest of them. There's 17 more. So there's 1, 2, and then there's 17 more. And we found 2 more. So there's 15 more. So if you want to pause, if you want to go ahead and stop and turn off the computer, I went ahead and answered them for you actually to save time. And this is in the long center drawer under my computer. All right, there you go. The next one is of glue. To the right of this large drawer, there are 4 smaller drawers. To the right is a prepositional phrase, and then of this large drawer is also a prepositional phrase. All your answers are here for you. The most important thing to know about this is that what a prepositional phrase is. It's a preposition and the object, right? And then any words between it. I want you to look at to the right. Remember we talked about earlier about the word to. So here, to the right, to, this is a prepositional phrase and not an infinitive because the right is not a verb. All right, let's move on. Part B, if you want to, here's your answers down here. It says the preposition has 17 more, so we found them. Which 4 sentences begin with a prepositional phrase that tells where something is? And your answers are sentence 2, 3, 4, and 6. So let's take a look back. 2, in the long center drawer under my computer. That's a location, right? Preposition of place. Where is something? Where are the paper clips, erasers, pencils, pens? 3, to the right of this large drawer. So this tells another preposition of place, of location. 4, in the one at the top. And the last one was number 6, in the second drawer. So all those prepositional phrases are examples of phrases that tell where something is. Which 2 sentences have a prepositional phrase of place that is not at the start? And your answers are sentences 7 and 9. Small items from clothing are in the third drawer. Here, it's in the middle. And number 9, according to my friends, I have such a variety of things in my desk. So here, again, it's in the middle of the sentence. The writer uses two different kinds of space order. What are they? Sentence 1 through 3 is left to right. Remember, space order is when we are describing a picture or location of things. In sentence 1 through 3, he moves from left to right. Says in a long center, and then he goes to the right, and that's the end of it. Sentence 4 through 9, he goes top to bottom. In the one at the top, and then in the second drawer, and then he goes, and the bottom drawer holds my location of wind-up toys. All right. Let's move on to page 129. This says using prepositional phrases to vary sentence beginnings. So prepositional phrases, they can be in the middle, at the end, or at the beginning. And as all good writers do, we use variation just so that our writing isn't boring and there's some variety. When you do this, you should put a comma after the opening prepositional phrase. All right. So if you usually write, get 8 hours of sleep before a big exam. Before a big exam is your prepositional phrase. If you were to say, before a big exam, get 8 hours of sleep, you have to put a comma after your prepositional phrase if it is the start, if it is at the beginning of a sentence. I keep snacks in the second drawer. In the second drawer, I keep snacks. Same thing with there is, there are. You add a comma when you move a prepositional phrase to the beginning of the sentence. There is a secret hiding place under the stairs. Under the stairs, comma, there is a secret hiding place. There is, there are. Here, this grammar, this is quite advanced grammar, so I don't want you to be too confused about this, but I have to go over it. So sometimes the subject of the sentence can just change places with a prepositional phrase. There's only one possibility. It's only when the sentence contains a subject, an intransitive verb, and a prepositional phrase of place. All right, here's the key words. Intransitive verb and a prepositional phrase of place. In this case, you do not need a comma. So what is an intransitive verb? First, let's talk about what is an intransitive verb. This you need to know. An intransitive verb is a verb that can express a complete thought without necessarily exerting its action on an object. It doesn't require a direct object to express a complete thought. For example, they jumped. Okay, so that's a complete thought. And notice there's no object. They jumped. That's it. You know, the verb, we don't know what happened or who jumped, or it doesn't need an object. A comfortable chair is in the corner. So is the verb to be. And the verb to be is usually always, I don't want to say always, 95, 99 to 99% of the time, the verb to be is an intransitive verb. It does not need an object. Remember the object of a sentence. It describes what action is taken. It has a verb. Let's say I played basketball. All right. What did you play? Basketball is your object. So is usually an intransitive verb because it really doesn't exert action. It's not an action verb. So in this case, a comfortable chair is in the corner. In the corner is your prepositional phrase. If you want to write at the beginning, in the corner is a comfortable chair, you're okay. You can do that. You don't need a comma right here. So in the case of this one possibility where there's a subject, an intransitive verb, and then a prepositional phrase of place. If you want to switch, put the prepositional phrase at the beginning, you don't need a comma. A picture of Beethoven hangs above her piano. Above her piano hangs a picture of Beethoven. Preposition of place, key. Notice here, it says there is. So when you use there is, there are, you have to use a preposition. I'm sorry, you have to use a comma if you're going to move the prepositional phrase. Even though this is a prepositional phrase of location, there is, there are requires you to use a preposition, a comma, if you'll write the prepositional phrase before it. All right. Here's more detail about transitive, intransitive. So intransitive verbs, it doesn't need an object. That doesn't mean cannot have an object. I don't know why they wrote that. It means it doesn't need an object. All right? And a lot of times, verbs that are transitive can be intransitive also. It depends on the context of the sentence. It depends on where these verbs are. So just because a verb is intransitive in one sentence, like the car stopped, doesn't mean it has to always be intransitive. Right here, the car stopped. So we understand what happened. The car stopped. It stopped moving. There's no object. Right? But here, you go, I stopped the car. What did you stop? The car. So this has an object. So in this case, in this context, the verb stopped acts as a transitive verb. Like I said, I really don't want you to worry too much about transitive or intransitive. Just know what an intransitive verb is and the difference. Right? Just remember, transitive verbs do not need an object. It is a complete thought without having an object, a complete sentence without having an object. Where transitive verbs need objects. You can't just say, I bought. What did you buy? We don't know. All right. Let's go to page 130. Exercise A and B. There's two paragraphs. To save time, I'm going to give you the answer to them because only 40 minutes. They want you to find the prepositional phrases, all, and add a comma after prepositional phrases of time and place that begin a sentence. All right. So here's your answers. My favorite place on the campus of our school is in the lawn in front of the library. During my lunch break, I go there to relax with friends. Notice here, to relax, this is an infinitive, right? Not a prepositional phrase. In the center of lawn, comma, there is a fountain. Right? Yes, preposition of place, but you see there is, so you must use a comma. Water splashes from the fountain onto some rocks around it. The sound of the splashing water reminds me of a place in the mountains where we go in the summer under a group of trees at the edge of the lawn, comma, or wooden benches and tables. On warm days, students sit at the tables in the shade of the trees to eat their lunches. Okay. So as you can see, if a prepositional phrase of time and place begins a sentence, we usually separate it with a comma when we move it to the beginning of a sentence. Okay. Part B, be careful here. They want you to find the prepositional phrases of time and place. Not, all right, preposition just of time and place, not possession, right? Because there were prepositions of possession, prepositions of that describe identity, So they just want time and place. I had a secret hiding place near my childhood home, location. No one knew of its existence. So even though this is a prepositional phrase, we don't put parentheses around it because it identifies, this prepositional phrase identifies the hiding place. It describes it, right? It's not talking about time and place. So it became my refuge. I often went there to escape. Again, to escape is an infinitive. My older brothers and sisters, I would sit alone for hours, time, and daydream. I was quite comfortable in my hideout, location. There was an old rug on the floor, location. A pillow and blanket that I had permanently borrowed from my oldest brother. So yes, this is a prepositional phrase, but this talks about possession. Right? This says the blanket belongs to who? His oldest brother. So this is not a prepositional phrase of time and place. So this is why in your answers they don't select it. A metal box with a strong lid was in the corner. Location, in the corner. Preposition of location, right? Prepositional phrase of place. A metal box with a strong lid. This describes the box, the metal box. Right? Not time, not place. Same thing with of my favorite mystery novels. I could spend all day in my hideout. Okay. Let's move on. Prepositional phrases. We're going to move on from there. All right, let's finish up this unit, Unit 4. Talking about combining sentences. We've done this throughout the term, and you combine sentences when you have repeated ideas, right? And you want to choose the words that you don't want to repeat. This is on page 131 in your book. There are more than one answer for some of them. Look at number 1. The old lecture hall is dark. The old lecture hall is old-fashioned. So we don't want to repeat lecture hall, old lecture hall, right? But the two adjectives are dark, old-fashioned, so we combine those two sentences and we get the old lecture hall is dark and old-fashioned. Right? So dark, old-fashioned comes after is. Right? In this case, they are coordinating adjectives. Right? Number 2. There's a chalkboard. I'm sorry, the chalkboard is green. The chalkboard is cracked. The chalkboard is on the wall. We say there's a cracked green chalkboard on the wall. Number 3, there are several maps on the wall. The maps are outdated. There's a clock on the wall. The clock is big. Here, this is kind of tricky. On the wall is repeated twice, so you don't have to say it again. And it says, this talks about maps, this talks about the clock. There are several outdated maps and a big clock on the wall. Number 4, in front of the chalkboard, there's a desk. The desk is metal, the desk is large, the desk is scratched. All right, let's look at this. I combine them all. We don't need to say desk again. In front of the chalkboard, there is a large scratch metal desk. Oops, sorry. Forgot the comma, because there is, right? So this is an intransitive verb, is. Prepositional phrase of place in the beginning, but because we use there is, there are, you must use a comma. We say large scratch metal desk because these are cumulative adjectives. You do not need a comma. And we say size before condition, before material. Let me mark that. And again with number 5, for the students, there are rows of chairs. For the students is a prepositional phrase of possession. And then there are, you don't want to say chairs again. there are 20 rows of uncomfortable blue plastic chairs. Quality, color, then material. All right. The last exercise, this again is they want you to know what are prepositional phrases of place. Just remember that they tell the location and they answer the question where. Where is something? Okay. Let's move on from there, and I want to start on Unit 5. And Unit 5 is on page 136. And Unit 5, the title, it says stating reasons and using examples. So as a writer, when you want to express your opinion about something, when you want to give a recommendation, we give reasons. Right? That's the reason to do something, reason to like something, reason to go somewhere, reason to do something. But when we give reasons, as good writers, we have to give specific examples. Right? We give specific examples, and they also say specific evidence. If you look at this picture, you can see this is about global warming, climate change. Right? Climate change. And there's many people that believe in it, and there's many people that don't believe in climate change. But either way, you believe in it or you agree or disagree with it, you have to give reasons and examples why. So this unit, we're going to talk about developing a paragraph with reason and examples for support. And you want to write, again, effective conclusions. We're going to talk more about complex sentences, use rules of capitalization and more comma usage, or more rules of commas. And then we're going to write, revise, and edit a paragraph with reasons and examples. So climate change. What are some reasons for climate change? One reason is the increased CO2 emissions. And an example of this is the rising air temperatures. It's hotter every day. There's more extreme heat all throughout the world. Right? So there's a reason, and here's an example. 2 examples supports this reason right here. What else? Another reason of climate change, increased ocean surface temperatures. And the examples of these are, there's rising sea levels. The ocean levels are getting higher. Right? I think you've heard in articles that cities are sinking. Right? And then you also notice there's more intense storms. There's stronger storms. Right? So these examples, these are evidence of increased ocean surface temperatures, which leads to rising sea levels and more intense storms. What's another reason for climate change? Deforestation. All right, you're cutting down trees, you're burning land, you're burning forests, you're burning trees, and this causes less CO2 absorption. So there's less plants to absorb the CO2. And this causes, the reason is, the evidence is there's harmful gases and toxins in the air. Right? So the air that you breathe is more polluted due to the burning of the forest and deforestation. Another thing people like to say is cause and effect. Right? The cause of rivers, of increased ocean levels, the effect is there's more floods. Right? Global warming, climate change has caused the snow and the mountains to melt. Therefore, there are more severe storms because as there's more water, there's increased ocean surface temperature. Okay. You can look into climate change on your own time, but I just wanted to show you an example of a debate, but you have to support your reasons with examples, with facts, with evidence, with truth, all right? In all debates. All right. So the first part of this unit, it talks about outlining. You want to brainstorm. And you've done this before. You use listing and outlining to brainstorm, right? So listing is where you just write down anything that comes to your mind about anything the topic is. And this example they gave, a friend asked you to recommend a place to study English. Where should I study English? And then you, with a partner, you discuss various schools and reasons your friends should consider them. So here are your reasons. Why should you go to a certain school? The location, the cost, the courses, the instructors, equipment, right? But now, here's your reasons over here, location. But you want to give examples that are specific, all right, not vague. You want evidence that's specific. What do I mean by specific? All right. So let's say this person goes, it has a great location. Okay, that really doesn't tell you much. Why is the location great? You want to be specific? You say, close to many affordable apartments. There's also restaurants around the school that give student discounts. All right, so now you're being more specific. You say reasonable cost. Okay, then we really don't know how much. You could say fairly priced, cheaper than local competitors, but again, you're not really stating. You could be more specific. How? You tell them how much it costs per semester, right? And then compare that to other schools' costs per semester. Now you're being very specific. You could say it has good equipment and facilities. Okay, like what? It's a modern building with a library, a cafe, a parking lot. Right? So remember, when we give examples and evidence, we want to be specific, and the opposite of that is vague. Do not be vague. All right, let's move on. That's outlining. Paragraphs with reasons and examples. So when you do a paragraph of recommendation, you want to give specific reasons. You want to give reasons, and then you want to support with specific examples. And then most of the outline is you state your recommendation in your topic sentence, and then you give several reasons for your recommendation, and then you support each reason with examples, and then you end with a concluding sentence restating your recommendation. All right, let's take a look at the reading model. They want to discuss reasons to study wildlife in Costa Rica. All right. Costa Rica. The title is Costa Rica, a great place to study wildlife. First sentence, Costa Rica is a great place to spend a semester doing wildlife research for 2 reasons. All right. So this is your topic sentence. Your topic is Costa Rica. Your controlling idea is what? What is your controlling idea? It's a great place to spend a semester doing wildlife research for 2 reasons. All right. So now, the rest of your paragraph has to discuss. You have to give details about your controlling idea. First of all, this small country has very diverse geography, so it has many different wildlife habitats. All right, that sentence, that is your first reason. That is your first reason. And the transition signal it gives to introduce each reason is first of all. I underlined it in blue. So now, it's not good enough to just give a reason. You got to support. What is your specific evidence, your example? For example, Tortuguero National Park on Costa Rica's northeastern coast has more than 10 different wildlife habitats, including rainforests, beaches, swamps, and canals. Students can study alligators in the swamps or observe sea turtles as they lay their eggs on the beach. Another example, right? And then they describe some more. So they gave 2 specific examples to support their first reason. Their second reason, they introduce it with a transition signal second. Costa Rica has an astounding number of wildlife species. This means a lot. For instance, here, this is used, to introduce support. For instance, near the Arenal volcano, there are 135 species of reptiles. Right? Another place. So this, for instance, in another place, these 2 sentences, they support his second reason. And then his final sentence, his concluding sentence, indeed, Costa Rica is a wonderful place to study if you love wildlife. So here, if you go down, if you go to the questions about the model, what is the controlling idea? That there's 2 reasons why you should study wildlife in Costa Rica. It's the red sentence, underlined. The exact reasons and the transition signals, I underline them in blue, here and here. How many examples does the writer use to support? What words signal each example? I underline those words in green. And does the concluding sentence restate the recommendation or the reasons? So what he does is he restates it. He says it again. He restates the recommendation because he says a great place to spend a semester doing wildlife research. Costa Rica is a wonderful place to study if you love wildlife. All right, so he restates it. And in what order, what pattern does the writer use? Space order, time order, or listing order? It's not space order because he doesn't say to the left, to the right, in the middle. It's not time order because he didn't say first, second, third, last. It's listing order because he just gives examples in any random order. It doesn't matter what's first, second, third, or last. Okay, last thing I want to do is talk about some geographical terms. Geographical terms that they have very specific definitions. They're usually locations, things you see in the world around you. If you go to page 141, there's some terms to describe geography. Some you might know, some you might not know. Words like habitat, rainforest, swamps, continents, coasts, beaches, canals, volcanoes. I answered these for you. The word habitat, this is a habitat. So the habitat is a natural home or environment of an animal, plant, or organism. And here the habitat of a penguin would be ice, cold, freezing temperatures, right? Like Antarctica. And this is what it means by habitat. The habitat of a habitat of elephants. That'd probably be like nice, warm, or hot tropical climates. Rainforest, you should know. Swamps, you might not know what a swamp is. This is a swamp. It's like very low-lying area, dead trees, plants, a lot of alligators, mosquitoes, bugs. Right? It's not really deep water. This is a swamp. Continents. Continents, here we are. There's... In my opinion, there are 7 continents in the world, right? North America, South America, Antarctica, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia. I've heard some people say Eurasia as one continent. Some people say Oceania. This includes like New Zealand and all these little islands here. Some people I've heard say North America and South America is just the Americas. I say there's seven continents. Most of the world thinks there's 7 continents. I've heard some schools teach it differently in different parts of the world. The coast. All right, the coast of something is, this is the coast, right? There's ocean, water. It could be a sea, it could be a lake, and then there's land. So a coastline is a line that forms the boundary between the land and the ocean or lake. This is a coast. Beaches, you know what a beach is. This is a beach. This is a famous beach in California. This is Laguna Beach. A canal. All right, a canal. A canal, first of all, is man-made. There's 2 famous canals in the world. There's a Suez Canal and a Panama Canal. And the Panama Canal, Suez Canal, was made by man, one in 1914, the one in 1869. Just know that it's a narrow strait of water that is man-made. This saves people a lot of time. They just go here instead of having to go all the way around. And same thing here, they just go here instead of having to go all the way around. And the last thing, a volcano. You all know what a volcano is, right? You can do this exercise. I filled it out for you. Okay, so that's going to be the end of today. That was a lot today. I'm going to send your homework. I release it tonight at 9 o'clock along with this video. All right? Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you later soon at the Google Meet. You have any questions, please send me a message on WhatsApp or Google Stream or email me. Okay, we'll see you later. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.